I don't know why, but the X is the coolest letter in the English alphabet. It just is. Most of the coolest words have an X in them somewhere. We have a lot of cultural references with X in them. Planet X, The X-Files, X Marks the Spot, The Uncanny X-Men. We're always solving for X in algebra. Even the coolest number of them all, 6, has a bleedin' X in it. And yet, it's also the single most redundant letter there is. There is no sound in the English language that an X makes that can't be formed with other letters, whether it's a Z or a CKS. There's no reason not to spell box, B-O-C-K-S, except that we don't want to. Xylophone could easily be spelled with a Z, and why not? I mean, heck, my spell checker recognizes both spellings. And those are pretty much the only two sounds an X ever makes. So why do we even need it? Why? Because it's cool. Why do people refer to your ass as your bottom? That's not my bottom, that's the back of my middle. The soles of my feet are my bottom. Isn't calling New York the Empire State kind of an oxymoron or a paradox or something? I mean, which is it, an empire or a state? Does the governor of New York have the right to insist on being called your imperial majesty? Take a look around you. Look at all the people walking around and doing things, just being human, and realize that, a few test tube babies aside, each and every one of them is here as the result of people fucking. You are sex. You are an egg and spooge combo made from baby batter. So's everyone around you. Think about that. I'll wait. And then, a while back, I was watching the Republican presidential debate, looking at the candidates, and I got to thinking, wondering, just what kind of hideous bog trolls would have had to have bumped uglies to provide the genes that could produce such a horrible bunch of freaky-looking gargoyles. Batman is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from being a vigilante furry. Have you ever really thought about the children's songs we just take for granted? Like, okay, for example, this old man, which old man? He played one what? Song? Round of golf? What? He played knick-knack. Wait, what? What the hell is knick-knack? I thought a knick-knack was like a worthless little decorative statuette or a trinket or something. How the fuck do you play knick-knack? On my thumb. Okay, playing knick-knack on body parts sounds either painful or filthy. Was this voluntary, or did this old man take advantage of you? With a knick-knack. Okay, we've been over this. Paddywhack. What? Is the old man beating up Irish people now? What kind of racist children's song is this? Give the dog a bone. Okay, I hate dogs, childhood trauma, but whatever. This just comes out of nowhere. This old man came rolling home. Okay, is this meant to be taken literally? Did he, tumble down a hill? Was he drunk? I mean, either way, this is a weird thing to be telling kids about. These definitions amuse the hell out of me. Doxy, noun. 1. Opinion, doctrine. 2. Religious views. 3. An immoral woman, a prostitute. 4. A mistress. Why do they call it making out? You're not making anything, and it can be done indoors as well as out. The term doesn't describe the activity at all. What about kissing passionately as described by the term making out? Explain that to me. You know what a great name for a Satanist would be? Cynthia. You'd think tech geeks would be totally into religion. After all, what is a church but a mass storage device? How come, except for Wendy, there are only lost boys in Never Never Land? I mean, I would have expected at least some girls to have gone missing in a magical land where children can be immortal and unaging and fly. I'd have jumped at the chance. Here's one I really don't get. Why is it that you can be naked and you can be nude, but you can only be in the nude? You can't be in the naked. Why does nude get to be a title, but naked doesn't? How come they're duck-billed platypuses anyway? I mean, is there a kind of platypus that isn't duck-billed? And why aren't they just platypi, while the ducks are called platypus-billed ducks? It seems kind of unfair to always be comparing the platypus to the duck without equal comparison in the other direction. Smacks of discrimination, I tells ya. Why do we call them buildings? Or paintings? Why the present tense? Shouldn't they be builts or painteds? I'd like to start a quartet of flutes, oboes, recorders, piccolos, or whatever. We'd play really old music from the 17th century, and we'd call ourselves Baroque Wind. I've been watching stand-up comedy lately, and I noticed something weird. There's something very similar between being a stand-up comedian and arguing on the internet, but there's one crucial difference. On the internet, you say stupid shit and people argue with you. As a stand-up comedian, you say stupid shit and people will laugh and give you money. I should be a stand-up comedian, 'cause I say a lot of stupid shit. Just once, I'd like to see somebody appointed as a U.S. Attorney Lieutenant Colonel. I'm just saying, we have enough generals. Is it just me, or is the term top hat redundant? I mean, where the fuck else are you gonna put a hat? Isn't every hat a top hat, really? Why did that particular kind of hat get called a top hat? Why are songs referred to as numbers? You know, I'm gonna do this little number for you that I made up in Vegas. And what the hell do numbers have to do with it? I mean, unless someone is keeping track, hopelessly obsessed with your playlist for whatever reason, it just doesn't make any sense. Unless, of course, it's because you keep starting your songs with and a 1 and a 2. It seems to me that neighborhood ought to be a state of being, the state of being a neighbor. You know, it's all, hello, Bob, it's great being your neighbor. I am glad that we have neighborhood with each other. And yet, instead, a neighborhood is a place. What the hell is that about?